Hello, romance lovers. Today I have a story for you called The Villainess Wants to Coexist. Don't forget to support this video with a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new interesting stories. Thank you for watching. It turned out that she had been taken over by a cruel villainess. Already in the hall, the mistress complained to the maid Tina about the bitter taste of the tea. The unfortunate woman asked not to be executed for such an act. Carmen complimented Melanie on her beautiful dress. The frightened maid immediately apologized to her mistress. The mistress asked Paul how they could get to the main house if they were lost. The heroine realized that she had dimly realized, having experienced it several times, that Carmen's character was as extraordinary as her beauty. It turns out that she not only has an incomparable appearance, but she is also that villain. The maid said that being bright is exactly what her mistress is all about. She appreciated the compliment and asked if the worker liked the necklace. How beautifully it shines. Why is the heroine here and what should she do? Carmen was in the carriage and thought how well she managed to while away the time on the road. There were inscriptions about things that happened during Rebirth. Easy development of events. The newly born is loved and lives happily. She also falls in love with a handsome man. But it seems that such a life may be only in her fantasies. The lady even knew the answer to why it was so. The ceremonial hall of the Tiraria house is shown. Perhaps Carmen is not liked by everyone. The mother told her daughter that her necklace was upside down. The girl agreed with her. An elegant man addressed them, calling them Miss and Mrs. Rashida. The mother called their reception delightful, addressing the Count of Cayenne. If she were 10 years younger, she would have gone mad. The aristocrat noted that she was still beautiful. Thanks to the Count's younger brother, Lord Cayenne, many young people came. According to the man, the event is attended by the most noble and young members of the Delia court. Mrs. Rashida noted that in her time there were many attractive faces, but today's youth are so sweet and smart. The Count pointed to Miss Rashida, who stood out from the crowd. The girl did not understand this chatter, especially after the question whether the prince had arrived. One cannot get used to high society. The mother called her daughter and she went. The heroine immediately started speaking the local language after her rebirth. Later, she realized the entire situation of this world. Carmen greeted everyone and wished them a good time. They greeted her too. The girl found one hole in her memories. She knew the rules of etiquette, but she did not understand what was happening around her. In the event of her further residence in this body, she needs to know everything about Lady Carmen. Is it really this girl? She remembered the lady in the blue dress named Elania Wang. Having lost her parents, she arrived in Delia 2 months ago. The two girls met and greeted each other. The red-haired beauty asked her friend to call her simply Carmen. Wang was in no position to call her that. The lady believes that she should not worry about it. Elania takes her at her word. Carmen saw her opponent dancing with her prince. How dare she take him away from her? In her mind, she returned to the room and heard the words about the dress. The girl did not understand what dress they were talking about. She would not forgive the offender for dancing with the prince. This was a recollection of Carmen? Rashida praised the blue dress of her interlocutor. She urged her friend to stop. Carmen didn't understand what her friend was talking about. The waiter who came up dropped the tray with a glass of wine. The girls were stunned. Rashida complimented Elania and called her beautiful. Wang said, "It was not once or twice." The people around thought, again the Marquis's daughter goes to the Count's daughter who has no parents left. Elania told her friend, "That's the point," but she did not understand her. What is she talking about? Wang asked Rashida if she regretted it at all. The girl couldn't understand anything about what was happening. House of the Marquis Balak. The heroine did not understand what happened yesterday and who Carmen is. In her thoughts, the prince dances with that girl. Probably there was a misunderstanding. She herself does not think about the prince. Wang came to her house to talk. Does Rashida think she will lie to her? Elenia said that she drinks the antidote, so the poison will not work on her. This surprised the Marquise. Did the guest really think that they were trying to poison her because the heroine was in love? After all, they were drinking tea poured by the maid right before their eyes. Wang was sure that poison could be applied to the cup itself. The hostess began to suspect that her guest was paranoid. The Marchioness regretted her actions towards Elenia in the past. She no longer needed the prince. She suggested that she simply forget about it. Carmen apologized for disrespecting Wang. Is Rashida trying to make her look like a fool? It's unclear what made her change her mind about her. The girl is sure there is no reason for this. Elania believes that there can be no peace between them. Let the owner of the house not deny that she chose him. And Carmen is better at speaking directly. The guests turned around and left. Tiraria's house banquet hall. Rashida recalled a recent conversation and wondered if there was anything she didn't know. Ramona arrived and called the girl beautiful. The lady thanked her. Carmen also said nice words about the guest. Ramona J. Gunt felt awkward hearing this from his interlocutor. The woman who came was the daughter of a rich viscount and a fan of Rashida. The mistress of the house was interested in what kind of people had gathered here today. Princes Richard and Otto, the king and queen, had already arrived. They were talking with the Carenbris family. Was that family really here? Ramona is sure that the lady of the house wanted to know about it. She reassured her that Prince Richard and Diana did not communicate. It is strange. Richard adores Elania. Is Carmen worried about someone else? Elon entered and called Lady Carmen. He asked how she was doing and received a positive answer. The aristocrat was pleased by the girl's concern for him. Could they both be connected in some way? In the evening, Carmen and Ramona will bring great shame on Duchess Diana Carenbris. Elon expressed gratitude for the opportunity to just chat like this with the red-haired hostess. Sir asked not to forget him and wished a pleasant evening. What are they talking about? Need to meet the girl before something happens. Playing the piano. Elania sang about searching for her in the forest on a path of tears, longing and jealousy. What do Ramona and Carmen want to do with her? Connecting Elon? The daughter of the Duke of Carenbris also became such a chic lady. She is graceful, like her mother. I wonder if she has a betrothed. The queen wants to choose a bride for the prince from her family. Diana is the queen's second cousin, and she has received a marriage proposal from Richard. Diana approached Carmen, introduced herself, stating that she was visible even from the stage. Rashida introduced herself. She is happy to talk to the guest. The hostess does not consider it normal not to talk to her. Carmen suggested a quieter place to talk and was refused. With Carenbris remembered, Lord Felix Isterdan is a friend of the family. He seems serious at the court of Calabria, but in Delia he is different. This veiled the question, did he say that? Lord Felix did not wish for that, but the ladies are interested in his statements. This means he says such things every day. Elania called it malicious. Carmen called Felix the perfect man who wouldn't say a word if girls laughed at him. The guest's glass was empty. The hostess drinks it sometimes. Diana noted that Delia has many delicate flavors, so she can drink as much as she wants. They called the maid, and then she appeared Ramona. She bowed to the guest, which surprised Rashida. The lady stopped Jagun, which surprised the guest. Carmen explained it by her desire to eat, but it would be better for her to wait for the maid. Diana said that she had a biased opinion about her. The newcomer believed that the owner was selfish or petty, that she had only looks and no upbringing. She was criticized in Carenbris circles, and Diana fell under the influence of their opinions. The guest is sure that they are right. You have to see it with your own eyes. To be honest, this is the first time she has seen such a beauty as Carmen. Wanting to get to know her better, Diana invited her to go boating. Carmen is happy to receive an invitation. Ramona entered the room with drinks for the girls. The hostess found the fans' behavior suspicious. Is there something in the glasses? You can't drink this. Then Elania came in. They offered her a seat and asked if she knew about the boats in the palace. In the opinion of the newcomer, the hostess had not received an invitation, and she herself had been invited by Richard. Wang, I wonder if there won't be a royal family in Carenbris' house there? Carmen thought that she would be blamed if something happened. Standing up and saying, Elania, there's nowhere to sit. She fell. The people around her started helping her get to her feet. Carmen thanked them. In turn, the girl apologized to Diana for spilling her drink. According to Diana, the hostess went to the maid for a glass, but she was interrupted. Rashida was in a hurry and did not watch herself. Everyone was perplexed. Ramona told Carmen that she didn't know she was guilty. According to her, everything is different. She doesn't want to do this with Diana. Doesn't Jagunt remember what she was asked to do? Does her friend want her to forget everything? Carmen doesn't want anything to happen to Diana. She needs to be safe at night and go home. Ramona thinks her friend is cruel. They can't leave Elon because he's her friend. What does quit mean? Carmen asked. Is it not just about drinks? And what are you doing, Elon? Ramona is sure that Rashida knows everything herself. No, she forgot and asks for an answer. What is Sir doing now? Ramona thinks that if Diana gets into a row over a man, he will mistakenly believe that Karen Briss cares. According to Rashida, Elon is obliged to meet her when she is alone. Diana knows nothing about the letter. Elon will pass it on. So Carmen is obliged to put Caranbris to sleep and make her the leading heroine of the scandal. This is done in order to refuse Richard's offer. Rashida told Ramona that if there was a commotion, Sir would be finished. Canabris would interrogate that man and everything would be cleared up. But then they would both be in danger. Carmen might be considered eccentric, but she was going to Diana. If that man decides to take Caranbris away, Carmen will say it was all a prank. Don't worry about Elon, nothing will happen to him. They will find him. You need to run fast, but will it work? She met a stranger, and he asked her not to be afraid of him. If he wanted to reveal the girl's secret, he would have done so. He explained his address as you by his reluctance to be familiar with the lady, since he has royal blood. Unforgivable words. The girl demanded that he stop mocking him. The stranger didn't want to do that. He doesn't intend to scare the traveler. She is sure that the man has already done that. Carmen's reputation is important because she is an aristocrat. For her, a scandal is equal to death. Of course, she is afraid to meet a stranger in a deserted place. The guy is ready to move away so that the girl does not feel afraid. He moved further away at Carmen's request, but pointed out the need to talk secretly. If she didn't care that they were heard, then fine. Carmen couldn't remember what she said. The man reminded her how to deceive the poor guy and ruin Diana's reputation Canabris. The girl does not remember such words as if they were spoken by her. How could he think such a thing about her? A reminder of the commotion, Elon, and the truth after the Canabris family interrogated the right person. The traveler asked with a smile, "What is the point of this lie?" And for a sorcerer, too. The girl wonders if he recorded their conversation. She is perceptive. The guy asked Rashida not to worry. She put the plan on hold, which is good. The girl hopes nothing happens to Diana at the reception. Carmen will follow Diana. If he overheard, why did he talk to her? The sorcerer simply wanted to look at her. The evil girl was getting ready to leave, and the stranger wished her luck. Carmen was in the hall. Okay. It hadn't gone that far yet. Elania was there too. But what was that look? She wondered why the girl was breathing so hard. She was just in a hurry to get here. The last song at the ball ended, but nothing could be done. Carmen was worried about Ramona's absence. Sir Elon was nowhere to be seen. Elania saw Prince Richard. He was looking for her, and she was waiting for him here. Today, the famous orchestra arrived. It was a good performance. It is not surprising that such a status and handsome man, and in love with him, Carmen. She noticed Diana's pallor and suggested that she go out. Diana wanted to go out into the garden. The prince noticed them and asked if they were leaving. Elenia suggested sitting down so they could feel better. Richard supported her. The guests were eager to get out. They were having trouble breathing. Wong was indignant, but couldn't they endure it? What kind of expressions are these? They should stop. She remembered her words about drinking the antidote, so the poison won't work. She definitely has her suspicions, and even recently. She knows about Carmen's plan. Diana decided that she should stay if they insist. It's not clear what they're thinking, but it's a misunderstanding. Baroness Silesia was taken to the tea room, which she did not like. The girl wanted to help Diana. She thought Carmen treated her well. She looked after her so much. Rashida was enchanted by her friend's grace, and it was simply impossible to see. Carmen had such clarity in her eyes. The prince doubted it with a smile. The girl took it for rudeness. Carmen was interested in Ramona. According to Diana, anyone would say that her friend has beautiful eyes. She was asked if she had many friends who looked up to her. Diana remembered about Ramona J. Gunt. Elania noted that there is no one who does not know about their strong friendship. She is sure that besides her, many will do everything that the Marquise says. Carmen was surprised when Sir Elon was named among these people. She remembered the moment when they were talking enthusiastically. Does Elania know about her idea? What to answer? The atmosphere was broken by a young man. He realized she was not at the place where they had agreed. Carmen saw him on the street. She stood up and started screaming. There were exclamations. Did he do something to her? Logically, it's rude to burst in calling a lady. The man was embarrassed. Carmen said he approached her and told her he wanted to see her. There was a misunderstanding, but he wasn't honest either. He stalks strange girls. It's tactless. The poor guy ran away in panic, asking for forgiveness. Rashida was horrified. Everyone turned their attention to her. She remembered that this guy was not the one who pretended to know her. He looked different. How could she accuse an innocent person? She would apologize to him. In another scene, the stranger who had spoken to Carmen appeared. He told his friend that he did not want to be with those fools for long. The comrade asked if he had seen anything good, to which the long-haired man told him about funny things. Is this connected with his search? Who knows? Carmen and Elania. Who is guilty of them? The heroine saved an innocent girl. Everything is fine with Elon and Ramona. As she told her friend, Canabris would investigate the case in order to discredit his daughter. If there is a stir, Carmen will suffer too. No matter what the real Marchioness Rashida thinks, the heroine does not regret her own actions. She did what she had to. Carmen thought to hide it in a suitcase, but then the maid came in. The girl woke up. What she was thinking about was not next to her. Where is the box with clothes? Melanie pointed to the dressing room. The suitcase with warm clothes was in the closet. She needed to go to the dressing room. The maid got worried and asked the mistress if she was tired because it was already late. The girl was not tired. She called the servants, wanting to get all the suitcases. Melanie looked at the lady and noticed how the decorations on her fan were falling off. The maid was glad that she took another one. The mistress thanked the worker nicely. Carmen is so kind to her. She is always like that, but especially now. They checked the suitcases at night but did not find what they needed. Such an unpleasant feeling. The maid is worried about Carmen? She reassured the girl she was fine, just a little nervous. According to Melanie, it is not surprising because the prince will be there. The maid is sure that everything will be fine with the mistress. She is beautiful and sweet. Richard will be crazy about the aristocrat. In the hall, she saw the prince, Elania, and Count d'Orwaz. The first one paid attention to her. A little girl asked Elania, "Are Brother Richie and Sister Carmen friends?" Already adults, they answered negatively. Wasn't the answer very fast? Again, the little girl asked why. Because not all peers are necessarily friends. The child asked, "Does that mean they hate each other?" Elania hesitated with her answer. Carmen appeared. She knows that Canabris will not speak well of her. Elania is sure that they are not that close. They have no reason to hate. Suddenly, the queen herself approached the girls. The crowned person considers the current weather ideal for a boat ride. Those present greeted her. She suggested that everyone set out. Carmen found such leisure luxurious. Melanie could go for a ride too, Carmen thought. The boy was asking to be held. He reminded her of her brother in Japan. She remembered how she used to carry him on her back. He was probably okay. Carmen asked him what he liked. The boy liked chicken soup. The prince stood up and demanded that the child be released. The girl did not like this. Carmen is surprised. Is it really against the rules to hold someone of higher status? Furious, Richard cried out. What was she going to do with the child? The Marchioness wanted to play with him. The prince said angrily that she had bad plans before. Had she forgotten? After what she did to the royal person. The girl hopes for forgiveness since the baby does not remember anything. Or did she not feel guilty from the very beginning? Carmen did not understand what she was accused of. The prince shouted about saving her father's honor, but now it will not be so and demanded not to come near the child. If it was earlier, then d'Orwaz was just a baby then. What did the real one do? Carmen? The girl was afraid. One look from the prince inspired fear. Carmen told the aristocrat how scared she was then. The stately man asked how she fell into the water. The servant boy apologized for this and for his carelessness. The royals did not understand what was going on. Rashida noted that it was all her fault. She had lost her balance and the prince had tried unsuccessfully to catch her. Richard thought that his help had aroused her suspicions. The queen urged the girl to be careful, as the lake was deep. Carmen thought that she would only get her hair wet. If she had not come, she would have suffered less nerves. The girl was told the queen's words to get off the boat and change clothes. The Marchioness thanked her, but she did not take a change of clothes. She was allowed to rest. Maybe this is how they want to get rid of Carmen. And if they really care about her, then Carmen will go, taking advantage of the offer. The maid approached the girl, regretting the fall into the water. Is it because of the prince? Rashida calmed her down and said that she had slipped. She suggested going to the next building, wanting to get the dress there. The prince was told nearby that he had thrown Carmen into the water in vain. Richard denied everything, but he was also accused of being the first to become aggressive. The heir is sure that the opponent does not deserve human treatment. The future monarch gets goosebumps from her. The girl had an impeccable pedigree, and he wanted to show her due respect as an heiress. The prince did not know about her recklessness then, but his father demands the support of the Marquis of Bellac. He said it wouldn't happen again. But does Carmen herself know about it? Sitting next to her, Eleanor said that every action has its reasons. Why is Melanie so devoted to Carmen? While in the hall, the aristocrat learned from a servant that a bath was being prepared for her. The queen had ordered it. The servant asked Carmen for a walk, and she agreed to give him a tour of the area. The gentlemen were surprised by his departure, leaving the guest behind, but she reassured them. The girl promised that the butler would return. Carmen had met on the way, entered the room. He was surprised that she recognized him. The girl fell silent abruptly, surprised by his rudeness. The guest thinks she doesn't like his tone. Carmen may be a little weak towards him. The stranger doesn't mind if the girl starts communicating with him formally. He thought that if he makes the first move, then Rashida won't be so careful. It's more dangerous here than in the Garden of Tiraria. Carmen doesn't even know where to run. The stranger asked if he could come closer. They were close friends, weren't they? The girl didn't understand what he was talking about. Carmen asked the guest not to say such strange things. According to him, friends share secrets with each other. He wonders if they have a common secret, to which Rashida answered negatively. The Marchioness did not consider him a friend. The guy asked her to share a personal secret. It concerns what she did last time. The guest wants to be closer to the lady, but he knows her one weakness. The Marchioness ran away, despite requests not to do so. The stranger thought she suspected him of something. The girl asked if he had recorded the conversation. He had to use something. Longhair thanked her for naming the spell, even though it worked on a different principle. But it reproduces memories. How could it be called thought recording? Tandalas. Carmen thought he had cast a spell. She had no weapon. What to do? But that was the guest's name. The Dallas were a small clan with a long history, and they rarely showed themselves outside Dahlia. What is a man from a secluded family doing here? Working in a palace? And can you tell by his clothes? It is an honor for Tan to meet such a lady. The girl retorted, she is not very much. Dallas asked what Carmen did with the prince. Nothing. Listen to the accusations. Tan, interestingly, she answered Richard, but that was not the case. The guest is sure that the heir would not have shown his thirst for blood for the sake of a lecture. What terrible thing did the Marchioness do? And the prince and Diana sat at one table, and Carmen at another. The girl told her interlocutors her title of social beast. One of them asked to keep it down. She already understood everything, but she was surprised. The girl was told that if a man expresses hostility towards a girl in front of everyone, he can be slapped. Rashida wonders if the prince really wanted to kill her. He is a swordsman and definitely threatened. You can call it an aura when you tell your opponent that you have superior strength over him. It is used to intimidate the enemy. From the knight's point of view, it is immoral to do this to a lady. Even if the man were not a knight, he would not do this to a girl. Carmen said out loud that she should not speak out like that. If there was a ruckus, the prince would give a proper explanation to her family. Tak noted that the aura was not so strong, but he was surprised when the girl fell into the water. He watched her then. Carmen explained that her legs weakened and she stood up awkwardly. According to Dallas, Richard himself was surprised when she helped him. The truth should not be hidden. In the hall, the Marquise Eleanor stated that the prince had a reason for doing this to her. The girl thought so. And what reason could there be for throwing a person into the water? Now she will declare this to the royal family. If the interlocutor covers for him, that is her business. Eleanor is sure that Rashida has not changed. She did not understand what was seen in her to say so. Or does her interlocutor have an unbiased opinion about the Marquise? Carmen is indifferent to this lady and the prince. Eleanor called it a lie. She was sick of her friend's impudence. She said that the opponent had done nothing. Diana's party was fine. She knew what Carmen would do next. The rival accused the girl of atrocities with the justification of this love for the prince. She allegedly saw this hundreds of times. Evil Eleanor will stop this to the surprise of her opponent. The girl lay there, not realizing what was happening. This is the world of the book, but how did she get here? If so, then Eleanor was reading it. There is a chance that they came here from the same world. The mother called Carmen and asked why she went out less often. The girl thought that she was not a marquise, and when she called a woman a marquise, she felt guilty. She has a different mother, but the Marchioness is Carmen's mother. When the girl told her that she was not she, the lady began to call doctors and priests. The lady is worried about her daughter's condition, and she closed the issue since she would not prove her case. One day the real daughter will return. In the meantime, the main character will continue to pretend to be the real Carmen. In the meantime, the mother asked about the girl's condition. The mother approached her about the debt. The girl did not remember this. It was before her resettlement. The mother accused the unfortunate woman of neglecting to fulfill her duties. And yet she thought that she was obedient. The lady thought that her daughter had reformed, but she seemed not to have gotten rid of her selfishness. The girl felt sad. She wondered if this was how the real Carmen felt. Parents always scold their children if they justify them. Carmen replied that she had no intention of neglecting her duty. She did not want to break the rules, but was resting longer because she was feeling unwell. The mother asked to tell her immediately if her daughter was not feeling well. It seemed to her that she had withdrawn into herself after a new grievance against Diana. The Marchioness said that she and the girl were getting along. Thanks to Diana, she was even invited to go for a walk on the lake with the royal family. She told her mother how she had spoken to the prince, although she did not want to communicate with him much. Mom said, "Does her daughter remember that she was answered to her wish to marry Richard? It is difficult to achieve him, but it is worth it. He cannot be attracted by a usual political marriage, but the heir has a bride, depending on Carmen's actions. The main thing is her will and ability to win the prince over." The girl sat and understood that she was listening to this for the first time. The maid came in and announced Yugon's arrival, asking if she should be escorted. The mistress asked for her to be brought in and called the maid to help the guest change. Carmen did not understand this elegance. Carmen had no idea why Yugon was there. Her mother explained that she was there to find the perfect topazes for her daughter. After a few days of break, she returned to social life. Carmen knew that the days filled with events followed one another, so it was difficult to keep track of everything. But she managed to cope with the routine, fortunately. It was already easier for the heroine to behave like a real marquise. Ramona happily ran up to Carmen. The lady praised her for her energy. She also noted that the incident with the gift from the man had passed without consequences. Jaegunt was glad to meet her friend. The marquise is pleased to hear this and understand that the girl is so worried that she invited the lady to the party for the chance to see her. There will be a certain handsome man there, and Rashida immediately thought of Tan. The invited sage is very handsome. The invitation was accepted by the priest Mabel himself. Carmen had heard of him, but asked Ramona to tell more about this man. And what is the purpose of the gathering of the temple people and the sages? Ramona was delighted by the words of the marquise and suggested moving to a secluded place for a conversation. So, there are fewer magicians now, but kings give them titles. This concerns those who wield power in politics. The monarch maintains balance in the palace by changing his confidants. People gossip that it is better to be a small fry in the tower of the wise than a high priest. This casts a shadow on the sanctity of the temple and makes the tower their competitor. Carmen wonders what qualities one must have to be recognized as a sage. Ramona stated that one must master elemental magic, alchemy, and 3 other types of magic. The candidate's talent must be recognized by all the tower's magicians. The girl suggested stopping there. Carmen was interested in what salons Miss Eleanor had been visiting lately. The girl would find out everything. In the hall with the guests, she asked if anything had happened to the lady on the day of boating. Carmen remembered her carelessness and explained to Ramona that she fell because the boat was too small. Translation: the royal family is to blame for everything. The girl did not understand how no one helped. The Marchioness told about the prince, but he could not foresee everything. Translation: Richard did not lift a finger when she fell into the water. The man was indignant because the prince as a knight should not have allowed this. The lady noted that the event was organized by the royal family, so the heir is obliged to take care of the guests. The third aristocrat called himself a knight, as the prince was, but unlike him, the young man would not stand and watch the girl fall. Carmen attributed the fall to her carelessness. She does not blame the royal family. The guests are sure that the lady should receive an apology from the rulers. The Marchioness does not want to bother the monarchs with such issues. Ramona thinks the girl is very kind. Isn't she the one to remember Carmen's atrocities? The Marchioness feels awkward remembering that day. She wants to forget about it as soon as possible. Does Rashida want to compete for the position of maid of honor? Carmen received a letter from the queen at tea. She asked her mother to find out something. But now she is not sure that the dress she is wearing corresponds to the tastes of the monarch. The queen wanted to talk to her guest about the incident on the boat. She regretted the mistake she had made. The Marchioness reminded her that the ruler had taken care of her and allowed her to rest. As the organizer, the queen was responsible for ensuring safety and that everyone enjoyed the event. The monarch apologized to her guest, who accepted her words of forgiveness. Carmen said it was her carelessness that had caused the commotion. The mistress of the palace thought that was how she saw it all. She praised her for her modesty. The girl had become a real lady. The queen asked if Carmen wanted to come to the palace more often. Never. She is not a candidate for a bride. The girl apologized and said that she had heard about the illness of the maid of honor, Countess Cornell. The queen confirmed this, but wanted to give the place to Diana, not considering Carmen at all. The former had a good pedigree and education. The Marchioness thought that she had already passed the first stage. For the court, Diana's pedigree is beyond doubt, but Carmen immediately added that she was still young and lacked experience in social circles. The queen agreed with her. The lady believes that not all rumors should be believed and asked if Carmen would like to become a maid of honor. The arrival of Prince Richard was announced. The Marchioness thought that he was the last thing she needed. The heir asked why his mother had forgotten everything, since he had asked to take Miss Eleanor. She did not want to listen to whom she should choose for the position of maid of honor. The queen asked to forgive the prince for his rudeness. Rashida is not angry with the heir. She thinks they disagree. The queen thinks she needs to talk to the prince. Will he wait in the next room? Eleanor didn't understand why the queen invited Carmen. A maid of honor is not the only option, but she thinks that they will definitely get along with each other. The prince is sure that his mother will love her, for which the girl is so grateful to him. Eleanor was reassured, but there was no point in pressing the queen. Richard was sure he needed to meet his mother. The queen had declared 2 girls temporary ladies-in-waiting. Then she would choose the best one. For Carmen, this is a chance to understand whether Eleanor is a reincarnation. She asked the prince to tell his opponent, "Break a leg." Mother and son are surprised. Tan returned to the workshop and asked his friend how the experiment went. He replied that the testing was over, asking if Dallas had gotten caught in the rain. No, he got wet in the blue dragon's nest. The comrade wonders who has it. Tan doesn't know, but he promises to catch it and feed it to the blue dragon. Were the ladies-in-waiting selected in the original story? It seems the queen didn't like the real one, Carmen. Then her choice most likely fell on Eleanor. The marquise was already waiting in the living room. Ramona. The girls greeted each other. Ramona brought the lady a message. It contained the first test, to appear before sunrise. The test would take place at the morning gathering. The girl began asking questions. Ramona is sure that helping the queen with her morning preparations is a great honor. She understands that such an honor is not always joyful. And Eleanor came from the village, and she does not know the palace etiquette at all. Carmen thought that her rival's debut was a couple of months ago, and her knowledge of etiquette was perfect. Strange, but if she was reborn, then where did she learn the palace rules, Delia? Body, Eleanor Wang, retained memories? But the real her lived in the village. How did she know the rules of etiquette? Even noble ladies need to take a course to learn the basics. Carmen was called by the young butler. She thought even the servants had excellent faces. The queen was waiting for them. She was glad the girls had come. Do they know what they will have to do? The Marchioness replied that her mother had taught her the basics when she was young. The ruler had tested her in action and was pleased with the result. There was a difference in how she was dressed and how someone else was dressed. The compliment from the queen was an honor for Carmen. She took on fichu, a scarf covering the neck and décolleté. Why is it the only one that works? The queen asked Eleanor if something was wrong. The girl assumed that the lady would consider it presumptuous, but asked to look at the gift. The mistress of the palace angrily remarked that she was not fully dressed, so could she not wait? Wang replied that because of the heat, the fichu had to be changed frequently, making it an impractical choice. The girl showed another accessory, which delighted the queen. Carmen appreciated her rival's move. The lady decided to put on the new item right away, trusting Eleanor. It was an honor for her. Noble ladies are not obliged to serve others, but they managed this part. The queen thanked the maid of honor for the gift, and Rashida noted that if the hostess is happy, then the whole family is happy. The queen asked Carmen if she liked flowers. The answer was positive, and the mistress demanded that the maid decorate the room with the most beautiful roses. Carmen wondered what flowers the queen found most attractive. The girl spoke so much that the monarch would think she was flattering her. The queen loves flowers that immediately catch the eye, fresh and lush, befitting the royal family. Having learned about this, Eleanor decided to give the lady exactly this rose. The rarest flowers are collected in the royal garden, and the girl intends to find the most special one. The maid of honor wants to give one as a token of gratitude. Then the silent one took the floor, Carmen. She asked Her Majesty to allow her to do the same. The Marchioness thanks Countess Cornell for the lessons, so she wants to at least prepare flowers for the lady. This is the greatest honor for her. The maid whispered to the queen that it was a good idea, as the girls would be able to better determine her preferences. The rose that the monarch liked would be the centerpiece of the tea party. Carmen was sure she had done it. She was dressing the queen while Eleanor was looking for the moment to give her a gift, and it was a piece of clothing. The girl asked her mother if she was wearing a fichu. Yes, and what about it? The Marchioness asked her mother to think about replacing the ficha with a lace decoration. The dress would look more charming and would not be hot. This accessory would soon become popular. The mother noted that it would take a long time to create such a gift. When did Eleanor have time? The daughter did not rule out buying from a craftsman. The girl's guardian, Countess Nozak, could have purchased the item. Carmen expressed confidence that Eleanor had long been preparing to become a maid of honor. She asked her mother what the rarest kind of rose was. Perhaps the cockmara. It appeared in the month called. The bush costs 100 gold. The girl doesn't care about novelty or price. She needs a rose of unusual shape and color. But the best gardeners work in the Queen's garden. There is no rose they don't know about. Carmen told about the second test, to find a special rose for the Queen. The best one will decorate the tea party, which will take place 3 days later. The girl thought about creating a flower from gold. For her experiments, she chose their white roses. For her visit to the palace, she dressed modestly so as not to stand out against the Queen. Perhaps this way the prince would notice her indifference. Richard saw her. The girl understood the need to be calm. He advised her to disappear if the marquise was going to tea. With a smile, Carmen thought that she did not dare to disobey him. Unexpectedly, Theodore asked Carmen to accompany him to the Queen. The mistress of the palace was informed about the arrival of the prince with Eleanor Wang, the Marchioness, and Lord Hutchinson. The lady greeted them. Eleanor said she was honored to be there, but the Queen interrupted to ask where she got the black roses. They are grown far away, and in the royal garden a few seeds had bloomed. Thoughts? The black rose of legend? Did Lady Wang bring them? And those are colored? The prince shouted that the flowers were not black. The Queen turned to Carmen and asked her to share the origin of the roses. How could she make the bud more beautiful? The lady saw a blue flower for the first time. The girl wanted to impress Her Majesty so much that she painted the rose in new shades. It's a miracle. According to the Queen, she was given the most mysterious flower in her life. She asked the girl to sit at the same table with her. She considered it an honor. The servant helped her. There was a whisper in the hall. Soon the Rashid family will be approached for marriage. The woman cannot earn money. There are rumors that the prince and she... Carmen heard everything. They have no manners at all. The Queen's little daughter called her guest little sister and invited her into the room after tea. Having promised to do so, the girl asked where her little brother was. He was sleeping, and he was not cute. Carmen told the girl that it must be fun to have younger brothers and sisters. She wanted to have them herself. Traditionally, a daughter cannot inherit land or property. Bellic's heir is uncertain. Now it's clear why Carmen's mother wants to marry her to Richard. Lady Rashid's fiancé will be the next Marquess. The Queen has turned to Charlotte. According to the lady, if she liked Carmen so much, she could propose to her herself. The girl apologized. There are many beauties at court. Each one's beauty is worthy of being mentioned in odes. We turn to Lady Canopus. Diana has grown into a beautiful girl, and have they found her a groom? He should not be inferior to the family in anything, and we should not forget about beauty, Richard thought. If a decent man is needed, then the elder brother will do. If Diana wants to get married, Otto will do. Carmen thought. It's good that she was forgotten. The woman turned to the Marchioness and drew attention to her lace fichu. It was Theodore's mother, Lady Hutchinson. She asked to be called simply Charlotte. The girl agreed. Carmen is sure that the fishtail suits her. Others asked to stop talking about this accessory. Meanwhile, the prince was talking enthusiastically with Elefchk. The aristocrat saw fichu lace made in the Western Jaden. The fabric is translucent and embroidered with small patterns. Girls talk. Eleanor Wang is trying to get closer to the Queen. It seems that in the Western Jardinay is a popular accessory. Carmen remembered her mother telling her the same thing. She talked to a girl from Jaden, and they don't wear fichu there. The table was surprised. Where did the fichu she saw come from? Charlotte visited the company Duared, which sold such clothing. It turned out that Eleanor had been there too. The Queen thought that the lady-in-waiting was treated like a VIP client. Perhaps Wang had designed the accessory herself and sewn it. Carmen's thoughts. Maybe she's looking at it all wrong. Her rival could have been creating a new product a long time ago and gave the Queen a ready-made sample so that it would become a trend. The girl says that you have to wait a year if you order lace from Duared. The client wonders if it is sold anywhere else. No, the company sells good translucent lace. This is exactly what is in fashion. Apparently, the company is thriving. Its employee agreed with Leah's opinion, Vincid. She is a seamstress from a simple family who brought her son together with the daughter of a merchant. Now the trade is in her hands. She may be a commoner, but she may have come up with the idea of a lace fichu. She may be related to Eleanor. Carmen's mother has no intention of wearing an accessory. The woman doesn't like the fichu created by the man who tried to humiliate her daughter. What if she doesn't wear it at all? Then the girl won't be elegant enough. It's important to keep your image and not think about others. Carmen, a princess, so she wears what she wants. The mother replied that there are no men in this country who are indifferent to her. The girl was indignant and added that Richard is not her type. The mother sees this as a unique opportunity. When her daughter was little, she closed her eyes, but now she is an adult. She has the power to have anyone. Why can't the prince be him? Mom instructs Carmen. Doesn't she understand how her life will change thanks to the heir? But he is not the girl's taste. The woman helps her daughter since she herself said that she likes Richard. Carmen screamed that her feelings for the prince were gone. Was it she who fell in love with Richard? Or did her parents fall in love with the title of princess? Maybe it was luck for the girl that the heroine got into her body. According to Carmen, the prince doesn't like her, nor does he like other women. It seems that only Eleanor exists for him. Wang. Rashida turned to another guest named Madame Hines. The Queen is organizing a performance, and Eleanor and Carmen are invited as actors. Will the young lady really take part in such an event? The girl needs her help as a woman. In a royal performance, not only acting skills are valued, but also who invited whom. For the mistress of the palace, this is a real battlefield. With the king's mistress, Ashley Ashzin, the play is the big part. It will be in 3 weeks at the new Royal Theatre. The plot follows a man who goes into the forest to find an ancient spirit, where he is surrounded by illusions. After going through many trials, he returns home realizing that the true virtues are trust and honesty. Haley Ashton became famous after playing the role of the tree spirit. Carmen got the role of image of trust. Miss Hines will help her in any way she can. She is glad that the girl will perform there. Carmen noted that they are responsible for the costumes themselves, so Hines needs to sew an outfit that suits the role. The mother believes that everything suits her daughter, but clothes that make her more irresistible will do. The main character is a young man. His mother is interested in his outfit. Carmen thinks that this is also a test, and they should guess themselves. Madame Hines needs to know what Eleanor will wear. The girl said that the two ladies were so similar to each other and asked to rely on her. According to her mother, the Queen prepared the performance so that the prince would be present. Carmen is obliged to conquer his heart and the hearts of all the inhabitants of Delia. The daughter does not know about Richard, but she will cope with the rest. And what ideas does Madame Hines have? Carmen and Mrs. Hines came to Leonard. The workers received the thin white fabric that the girl had ordered the other day. They were introduced to Mrs. Cared, the best fabric specialist. Carmen complained about her lack of knowledge of fabrics, trusting the experts. Madame Cared declared that the client would receive a stunning petticoat no matter what style she chose. The employee asked for a suggestion on the color of the skirt to select a suitable fabric. There is no need for this for Carmen. Linen, muslin, or silk will suit her. The company was surprised by this. Eleanor probably also wants to know what her rival will wear. It will be beautiful. Make a dress out of a suit? Carmen doesn't have time for that. The girl asked Madame Cared if she knew what Eleanor would be wearing. The answer was to buy Leah Vincid dark and black silk. Such silk is of high quality. Even the royal family buys it. Have you heard the story of Lace from Jaden? A priestess girl came to them, but no matter how many times they asked her for a favor, she refused. And she listens to the requests of others and cooperates with the people from Dowager. Carmen thanked Madame Hines for this. She noted with delight that the lady is becoming more and more beautiful. Together with Hines, they bought 3 rolls of white cloth, but found nothing special. At the carriage, the lady was asked if her legs hurt. Rashida must show off her beauty. And she needs to take a walk. Carmen needs new shoes. If Melanie went with her, they will buy something for her too. The maid is shocked. They walked for a long time, but the mistress is not tired. The apprentice boy came up. Carmen let him go because the student could be late. The maid called him rude because he did not say hello. The mistress smiled, explaining his haste by his busyness. Tan suddenly appeared in front of the girl Dallas. They met again as he said, "The aristocrat asked him not to scare her like that anymore." The man added, "It was always like that with her when they saw each other." He handed her the bag in which the lady kept the seal and money. Tan advised not to carry it in her hands, but to hide it in a secluded place. The lady thought that she had dropped the thing somewhere. Dallas is sure that she is forgetful. It's all about that boy. He stole the bag. The guy guessed that Carmen would have a hard time in the palace. He noted the idea of multicolored roses. He came to praise Rashida? She did not understand. No, he had guessed wrong with the magic, the lady said. No one would have thought the flowers special if they had been made with magic. Tan seemed to have changed. What should she do? Does he realize she is not the same Carmen? Maybe she used a magic trick to instantly transform a person? The lady from Belak replied that she simply heard from friends. Her first impression of Tan is not very good. There is no guarantee that he will have kindness towards Carmen, as happened with the Marchesa and Ramona. Their kindness does not go to her, but to those who sympathize with Rashida. The girl wonders how Dallas took the boy's bag. He used a joke spell. The pickpocket himself may be in the manure, although his hand could have been cut off. The interlocutor did not like this. According to Carmen, the main thing is that she got her bag back. Nothing else matters. The boy is someone's apprentice, and without an arm, he will be thrown out. Is she the only one here for good? For Tan, he is a thief who will not get anything good. Dallas doesn't understand why Carmen cares about the fate of a thief, but he robs for food. She, as the upper class, is to blame for this to some extent. Carmen remembered the times in Japan when people died of hunger. Tan appreciated his friend's point of view, but he had to go. He didn't mind. I want to take a walk with her some more, but I don't have time for that. The maid wonders if her mistress knows this guy. He looks like an aristocrat. Carmen. Something like that. He has quite a high status. The events moved to the company Dowager. The workers were greeted by Eleanor. She was asked about the preparation of the fish. They have so little time that the sooner the better. The girl met the priestess of Alakura in her past life. Now she has to go with the flow. The customer will try on the dress. Everything will go swimmingly when the queen publicizes her idea. When the lady appears in this fish, the demand for lace in high society will skyrocket. People can imitate, but to no avail. On the planned day, the beauty will shine brighter than anyone else. It cannot be otherwise. For Carmen, that the play is to be staged in 3 weeks. Eleanor rehearsed, addressing the sweet young man, asking about pain, work, and daily bread. Was she the only one who learned the lines? It seems that the court bought a lot of high-quality fabric to create the queen's costume. The girl bought the white material, and the business partner made the shoes. It's strange how everyone keeps up with costumes and replicas. Eleanor thanked him for the praise and was amazed at how the queen played the young man. Her work has an indescribable grandeur. Carmen almost cried when the young man left the village. The girl thinks it necessary to show the boy the importance of trust and honesty. The queen has invited her to perform. She is eager to see how she will display trust. Carmen read, "Eyes like stars watching the harvest. That chin was made to be kissed by family. Rather than entertain illusions, it's better to think about the girl who yearns for him. If you take her for granted, she will disappear from his life," the actress read. In other words, this is how the queen hinted to the king about leaving his mistress. The ruler will not live to see a real performance. For the queen, both girls are doing very well. It is difficult to choose someone for the maid of honor. She hopes that the candidates will maintain their enthusiasm until the presentation. Carmen promised to do everything in her power. The ruler wants to hang green curtains on the gallery on the second floor to represent the forest. They will be removed in the scene where the castle appears. It will feel like the hero has come to the castle. The contestants will get advice from the queen about their outfits. She herself will wear a typical country boy outfit. Carmen was sarcastic at these words. The girl thought that a village boy should wear clothes made from the best fabrics of the palace, since not every nobleman can do that. The ruler is interested in Rashida's outfit. Carmen has a modest outfit. It suits the spirit of trust, because trust is the brightest ray of light in the world that lives in humble hearts. The queen was delighted by the wisdom of the maid of honor. The girl admitted that this came to her mind after reading the ruler's script. She will tell in detail why trust lives in humble hearts. Trust itself speaks about it. Eleanor did not read other people's lines. She is sure that she has a lot to do to prepare for the show. How should the queen understand this? Her guest asked Carmen if she was missing something. Wang told her rival that the script was written about honesty dwelling in kind hearts. Carmen's opinion, the heroine understood why they were given the roles of honesty and trust. Eleanor suggested that this is how the queen wants to show them the importance of virtue in life. A heart filled with greed cannot be trusted, for it is prone to change. Honesty is kind and merciful. The queen and Charlotte were surprised. It seems that the attire of a noble person will suit her, but will the queen like it? She praised Eleanor for the perfect image for honesty. And if trust requires a humble heart, are they not contrary to this virtue? The queen agreed, noting the need to be more modest. Yes, silk and lace would be out of place. What would Rashida do? The audience of the performance will be the king, 2 princes, the princess, the rest of the royal family, and relatives of the actors. Carmen and the ruler held hands before leaving. Carmen said that if you imagine the audience as stumps, you can avoid the excitement. Her companion did not understand. The girl explained that you would not have to pay attention to them, concentrating on the game. Who tries in front of the stumps? How is that? Carmen found a serious approach to be a good thing. The audience will be thrilled to see the efforts. The queen will show everyone what she can do. Haley in the hall next to her husband, Eshsin. Rashida supported her partner, saying that the king had brought a mistress. This is unthinkable. The ruler does not seek love dedicated to her. The queen believes that it is a status symbol for a noble man to have another woman, but she will not tolerate a mistress. Carmen is sure that the monarch will forget about the other woman after seeing his wife's game. Eleanor entered wearing a cloak. She was asked what she needed it for. The girl put it on to keep warm. The queen thought that by the end of the performance, no one would look at her husband's mistress. The play was a success. The queen told Carmen that she would become a trendsetter among young ladies. She admired her charming dress. The girl replied that she had been overpraised. According to Carmen, she used an old outfit as a base for the costume. Doesn't it look drab? No, it looks stylish with short sleeves and a shawl covering the arms. Carmen was asked where she got the silk with the excellent pattern. She modestly replied that she found it by chance while sorting through old dresses. The base is from Epinaria. The girl can introduce you to the importer. The girl assured that Madame Hines would select the right fabric for the queen. She promised to contact her before leaving the capital. At home, her beloved mother praised her daughter. The mother asked how long ago the girl learned to smile like that. No, she expresses joy like that. Carmen created an atmosphere of mystery around herself and coped with her role. maintaining her dignity. The girl is happy with what she has done. This is Carmen that she is not ashamed of. The queen, in the presence of her husband, asked the marquise if she could become a maid of honor while Ailil was not available. Carmen said it was an honor for her. Tan, who was standing behind her, thought the girl was very interesting, and the prince did not forget to praise Eleanor. For him, the performance was touching. The lady asked Richard what he thought of Miss Carmen's costume. The heir compared the garment to a nightgown, but the girl thought otherwise. It was delightful. She was in shock. Because of the marquise, no one looked at the Eleanor fish. She wouldn't earn anything like that. Lady Wang didn't understand why she had made such a mistake. Now was not the time for emotions. She had to think about something else. The maid praised Carmen for her performance. She handed her mistress a piece of paper found in an old yellow muslin dress. Rashida did not understand what it was. A novel or an essay? The maid noticed with a smile that there was nothing written on the sheet. Carmen had seen black letters there a second ago. The mistress asked the worker again if she had really seen what was written. Answer: yes. The prince appeared in her thoughts, asking if Carmen regretted her crimes. Jealousy had driven her crazy. Not only Eleanor, but the entire country was in danger. If Wang had noticed earlier that she could not be fixed, the tragedy could have been avoided. Carmen asked the maid if the dress was in the suitcase. There were ugly clothes there. The mistress dismissed the maid. She thought no one would suspect anything was wrong. The leaf did not tear or burn, so Rashida hid it. No one should see it. An unknown guy with a sword. House Rashida will die out, and the title of Marquis of Belloc will go to his distant relative. This is magic. Experience from a past life. Carmen realized that she got that suitcase because she felt a presence in it. A typical story of a woman who gets into the body of a villain. But Eleanor is not like that. She is a real heroine, and Carmen is a villain with a tragic ending. She hasn't read the novel, doesn't know what to be afraid of. She tries to show that she is kind, but the heroine doesn't believe her. What to do with all this? Eleanor has seen this hundreds of times. If we assume that she is returning to the past, then everything fits. She arrived in the capital 6 months ago, but she has already mastered the social etiquette perfectly. Why did she become the enemy of the heroine who returned to the past? Too bad she didn't get to read the original novel. Carmen was killed, so Richard and Eleanor could have lived happily ever after. Why was she thrown into the past? According to what I read, Eleanor was trying to get along with Carmen at that time. How many times did she travel into the past? Or maybe this piece of paper is not the ending. Maybe Carmen broke out and killed Eleanor? Or did she go back in time to deal with Rashida before the tragedy? No need to write such novels. Who came up with this nonsense? Carmen read the passage? No, it makes no sense. It is clear that Eleanor has returned to the past more than once, and the Marchioness is a villain deserving of death for her. The past Rashida would not have believed in traveling to the past. She admits, Eleanor Wang intends to get rid of Carmen Rashid. The rival will believe, having learned that she is not confronted by the Marquise. The opponent changes from the moment she got into Carmen's body. Initial Eleanor has caught the attention of the prince, but she has a hard time adjusting to life in Delia. The current Lady Wang has succeeded in business and fashion. She and the past Carmen are enemies. In this regard, she must survive. Queen Carmen was delighted with the service. The mistress of the palace noted that this treasure had come a long way. The maid of honor asked if it had been specially ordered. It has been kept for a special occasion for a long time. When the queen saw the Marchioness's dress, she remembered the set. Rashida was flattered that she remembered it and thanked her for the opportunity to look at the set. The queen likes it too. The beauty of the set will be wasted if it is not used. Carmen explained that if they like it, the set should be used more often, not saved. The queen agreed with the maid of honor and offered to take it for herself. The girl was afraid to even breathe on it. And the service was so similar to the dress of the Marchioness. When they wanted tea, they would meet for it. The audience appreciated the queen's trust in Carmen. Was this really a future princess? The Marchioness thought that at this rate, her every move would be watched. This was no good. At home, Carmen was greeted by a maid. The mistress asked if she had been given the tea service. The worker saw such beauty for the first time, which shone like snow. She covered everything with velvet and put it in the closet. Madame Hines wanted to meet Carmen. Melanie asked if the lady wanted to make an order. The Marchioness intends to follow fashion. The Queen does not wear a dress in the Empire style with a bold design. The maid is sure it will suit the mistress. They brought many suitcases to the surprise of both. Madame explained that the mistress should stand out from the crowd. They had to discuss the design. Carmen has clothes from the Queen. She will show how to wear them. It is necessary to combine outfits with each other. Heinz understood and demanded to bring muslin from Neteria. She told about Eleanor in the temple and Duared. Carmen remembered the black roses. Wang hired someone to bring them. The time the lady visited the company and the departure time of the specialist who brought the flowers coincided. At the palace, Prince Otto bowed to Carmen, who smiled and pointed to the fine weather. He was polite, unlike Richard. The heir asked if she was going to her mother. Yes, they were getting ready for dinner. The lady-in-waiting wonders if Otto is present at the dinner. The prince will be there in the presence of his grandmother. The Dowager Queen never misses such events. The youngest prince is her favorite. Carmen is sure that the widowed queen is very lucky because she has a wonderful grandson. The young man thanked the girl for her kind words. The girl considers the heir to be a kind person and caring to others. He said, "Thank you," and left. Melanie did not rule out the presence of sympathy for Carmen, but she is not sure about it. Both princes are completely devoted to Eleanor. Carmen was getting ready, having no time to change her clothes. She was informed of a gift from Mrs. Hutchinson. Theodore's mother has no need to send her presents. The maid thinks it's cosmetics. The girl is sure that the mistress takes care of her mistress. The mistress plans to thank her next time. Melanie brought her a fan. The fan suddenly fell to the floor and broke. The girls felt as if there had been an earthquake. They packed everything carefully, but the tea set was damaged. Carmen stopped Melanie, who almost committed suicide. She blamed herself for the fan breaking. The lady does not consider her guilty. There would be an alarm signal. Melanie is in shock. The poor maid will not compensate for this, even if she sells her property. Rashida reassured the poor thing. She does not need to be compensated. There must be another way. Is it possible to fix a tea set with milk? Put the cups in a saucepan. Pour milk over them and heat over low heat. When it boils, turn off the heat and leave overnight. Carmen asked the maid to pick up the pieces. Tomorrow they would see how it all ended. She went into the hall where there were many ladies in white dresses. The Marchioness noticed this with surprise. She wondered what kind of dress Eleanor would wear. As long as the Queen stuck to tradition, Wang and Duared would start making big money. But the income wouldn't be as much as the lady wanted. Eleanor came in. She didn't look worried. The Queen asked Halsin if Aspen would be attending the party. The girl they asked didn't rule it out. The heir's grandmother noted that young people like Aspen were always busy, not like them. The Queen noted that the boy was smart and would have found time to come. Her words were immediately supplemented. The Dowager Queen added that Aspen was not kind enough. Being smart does not mean being cunning. Carmen mentally demanded that the argument be stopped. The king described Aspen as a wonderful and wise fellow. The palace does not often receive such a gift. Grandmother asked Otto who was the most outstanding young talent in the room. They started talking about Carmen. No wonder she is a maid of honor. They could have taken Eleanor in her place. She received a black rose. Wang knows about Mrs. Boyas's love for these flowers. She thanked the lady. Carmen has been criticized for ignoring social rules by hiding behind her beauty. She is so charming and does whatever she thinks, keeping her eyes excited. Men are crazy about her. Eleanor raised her glass in the hope that Countess Cornell would recover and return to them. The Marquise looked at her, thinking that she had ruined the cups with her gaze. Carmen recalled this. Whenever possible, Eleanor always felt guilty. She had barely defended herself before, so she hadn't tried to prove that the cups were defective. Why did she remember something so useless now? Carmen thought that the Queen was in a bad mood after dinner. What should the girl do? Dallas came up to her. He allowed her to call him simply Tan. Rashida asked if he had any business in the palace. No, it's routine for him. The guy asked a question. Has she become interested in him? The servant addressed the man, called him Mr. Sage, whom His Majesty is calling to him. Tan would like to talk to her some more, but he had business to attend to. He kissed her hand and left. Carmen shouted after him and asked him to wait. The girl felt hot from the kiss of such a man. Carmen came to the queen, announcing her return. Charlotte asked how the Marchioness was feeling and whether she liked the cosmetics she had given her. The guest thanked her for the gift. The day before, Carmen had used cosmetics. The queen was surprised about such a gift. Charlotte wanted to give something as a gift to the new maid of honor. The latter was interested in Tan. Carmen told the queen about Dallas. He called himself a wise man. Her Majesty was glad to see the boy. She noted his love of freedom. The girl asked if he always came when he was called. Tan is the type to shift the burden onto others, even if they require his attention. The queen values the independence of the Tower of Sages, but there is nothing they can do. Thanks to Tan, the king controls the tower's mages. As nobles, they have sworn allegiance. Thanks to the cooperation of Dallas and the crown, the tower has become autonomous. The queen wants Tan to tone down his egoism. Has Carmen talked to him? The girl herself thinks he is handsome. The maid announced the arrival of Prince Richard and Lady Eleanor Wang. The heir greeted everyone, and his companion asked how the people in the hall were doing. It was the lady who advised the prince to visit his mother, and he came as a worthy son. The queen invited the couple for tea and asked Carmen to bring that service, since there was an occasion. The Marchioness looked at Eleanor's face and thought, she knew Rashida would be in trouble. Carmen brought the cups. They were perfect. They were repaired with milk. Some were broken. It was good that Otto or His Majesty did not come. Melanie was scared when she thought the truth would come out. Carmen felt it necessary to tell everything. Eleanor could have guessed. There was a chance that the cups were already damaged. The maid does not understand why the mistress intends to take the blow upon herself. Answer: the queen trusts Carmen if she gave the cups. The girl must be honest with her to the end. Tan appeared in the room. Was it magic? It is forbidden to use it in the palace. Carmen was simply so engrossed in conversation that she did not notice him. The guy did not know to knock on the door. Carmen asked, what if there was a spectacle here not for strangers? Answer: then she had an unforgettable expression. The Marchioness almost fell into a stupor. The girl did not understand what he said. Tan deftly avoided the answer. She wondered if his "see you" was said for a reason. The lady remembered her cups. Tan can fix things or rewind time. The latter is the ultimate magic, like weaving together untangled threads. Sooner or later, they'll find out. If something is meant to break, it will. Carmen asked if it was some kind of fate, to which she received an affirmative answer. Tan asked what she needed to fix. He learned about the royal broken cups. The Marquise asked if there was a substance similar to pine resin that was not soluble in water. She wanted to repair the dishes. What would suit her? The magician said that it would leave a mark on the cups. Dallas is sure they will look pathetic, but his interlocutor will do the right thing. She fell down before the queen. She asked the lady-in-waiting to stand up. The girl confessed to breaking the cups. The queen knew everything. When she was drinking tea with Charles, she noticed Carmen's paleness and realized what had happened. She should have confessed earlier. Her Majesty thanked the honesty. Carmen called Melanie, who brought the cups. The girl used a technique from a country specializing in porcelain. The queen thought of gold, examining the dishes. The substance resembles only gold. Her Majesty admired what she saw, but Carmen considers it necessary to punish her for breaking the cups. The crowned person will not do anything like that. Sometime later, a DeRose tea party was held. Richard and Eleanor were there, but they did not cause any trouble. The Dowager Queen and the Duchess of Charter also came. The prince's grandmother remembered how Madame Balak was praised. She was even envious that the Marquis had such a daughter. Dew admired the youngest ladies at court. She should be an example for her. Carmen and Eleanor thanked the woman for this. They could become relatives later. Why such formalities? Richard became worried when he heard this. Charlotte noticed that one day children leave their parents' house, but the husband and wife stay forever. Carmen didn't understand why they were looking at her. The Dowager Queen wanted to tell the details. They didn't really talk about it. The prince didn't understand anything, but his grandmother said he should be happy. His brother's bride would be the most beautiful lady in the entire royal palace. Carmen returned home and greeted her mother. The woman appreciated her appearance, but did not find the dress suitable for the palace. The girl there wore a white dress, a different shape. The mother is sure that the palace has its own rules. Many people wear this dress when going out. The daughter asked about the lace fichu. It does not suit the style of this garment. Carmen reported about the royal dinner, which she could not attend. The woman called her daughter for this. The widowed queen proposed marriage of Otto with the Marchioness. Carmen sighed and asked what her mother had answered. She politely said that her daughter's mind was occupied with something else. The girl did not understand who her mother had in mind, but she had simply deceived grandmother. In the mother's opinion, Otto was inferior to Richard in position, so the family did not need it. She could not refuse without a reason. The dowager queen would not agree with this. The mother thought, if Carmen herself wants this marriage, Prince Otto is second in line to the throne. He is worthy of becoming the son-in-law of the House of Rashida. The daughter does not want to tie herself to him by marriage at all. The Marchioness thought that Carmen could return to her body at any moment, so it was not up to her to decide who to marry. The mother saw no difference between the princes. The daughter asked what she thought now. The lady is sure that with such a reputation, her daughter is able to choose any groom. No one will refuse her. There is no need to hurry, but the mother hopes to see the girl as the most powerful woman in the kingdom. First of all, the mother wants to see her daughter happy with her beloved. How can she force her to marry when she is in love? Carmen is not interested in Richard. The mother wonders if Eleanor really cares about her daughter. The important thing is that the queen likes her. They hugged. The woman reassured the girl that nothing had happened. In the lady's opinion, the queen will not put pressure on the Marchioness, knowing about the lack of love between her and Otto. The crowned grandmother likes women who adhere to old-fashioned views. Rumors began to circulate about the rejection of the marriage proposal of Prince Otto at the House of Rashida. Eleanor met a little girl who called her sister and remarked on her sweet smell. The lady brought the little girl chocolate hazelnut cookies. The little girl wondered if she had made them herself. She wanted to show her the cups. Eleanor was thinking about Poison and Carmen. A boy was waiting for them. Eleanor thought he was the girl's first guest, but he was not. The mother and the dowager queen entered. They reminded her about the official tea party. What was needed first? The girl apologized to her grandmother and thanked her for the visit. Eleanor thought how well everything was going. Otto told the girl what an honor it was for him to be at Countess de Rose's tea party. Richard entered and rushed to hug him. The prince explained that he couldn't help but try her cookies. The grandmother made a sign that they were looking at him. He understood. This time, Carmen didn't send Melanie to her favorite shop. But this time, it's not much different. Eleanor is sure she's not her main target, but she shouldn't let her guard down. The Queen and Lady Rashida were announced. Eleanor wondered if the prince's grandmother and the mistress of the palace were not at odds. Two ladies appeared. Carmen wondered if Eleanor was surprised that her outfits were similar to the queen's. The monarch was approached about the dress as if it was strange. The guests assured her that this was not the case. Carmen declared that the queen has an ideal figure, and simple clothes adorn her. If Haley approves of the outfit, everyone will shut up. The girl asked Otto if he agrees with her. The heir even thought his mother looked younger in this dress. The girl, Countess de Rose, was approached about the visit of the king and a lady with a covered head. The grandmother was surprised. The dowager queen asked what Halsell was doing here at such a time. The king immediately asked if his mother had forgotten about him. Halsell's allergy to light. She spoke of suffering under the sun, which everyone craves. She is barely a high school student and in such despair. The unfortunate woman will go out to people more often, but when will she take off her veil? Carmen asked the countess to give her the thing she asked for. She would prepare something so that the unfortunate woman could drink. The girl brought a straw and said that Sister Cara helped make it. Of course, it was made by a master. Eleanor thought about how she could defend herself if the fight for fashion trends in society had started. Halsell thanked for the gift. Carmen ate cookies at the table. Was it Eleanor who ate them in her native village? The Marchioness asked her rival what was on her face if she looked like that. The little countess found an explanation. Cara is simply beautiful, and she can't take her eyes off her. All this is suspicious for Rashida. Is her opponent waiting for something to happen? The dowager queen suspected Eleanor. She tried to investigate. A container appeared in front of the girl. Medicine? They wanted to poison her? Eleanor walked down the hallway. It had been a long time since she had been treated like this, but she was respected as a bride candidate. She didn't understand why Carmen had made such a move. She had been caught, and then everything could change. After a while, Carmen had time to read the strange paper. She came across a phrase about burnt people who participated in the tragic incident. What's going on? Carmen stood near the carriage. Someone covered her mouth with a hand from behind. The envious of her talent kidnapped the girl. There is only one suspect, Eleanor Wang. She handed the letter to a passing boy. She called for a note to be given to Madame Mark on Shoe Street. In exchange, she would give a silver dot. 4 days passed, and the Marquise began to get used to this place. A bandit came in and grabbed her by the face. He doesn't care who she is. Aristocrats and commoners die the same way. Carmen can protect herself. Tan has appeared. He will take the Marquise from here. She was brought to the Tower of Magi. Tan introduced the lady to an experienced magician, April, who wants to sell a new lotion. He is also his advisor. The guy asked if Carmen wanted to look for the culprits. A person with the right attribute will help her. As a reward, he intends to receive the dress and her against it if the lady helps sell the lotion, while she was in the tower on the Great Plain, feeling safe. This is not Carmen's place. Tan people here, but the Marquise felt free here. She saw fireflies on the street. It's strange, there are no bodies of water nearby. That's right, it's magic. Dallas came up to her and asked why she wasn't sleeping. Rashida is fine. They are kind to her here. There are thoughts in her head. The magician asks her to share them with him. The girl is tired, but this is natural, he thinks. She stated about another tiredness. Carmen wonders if Tan ever felt different from the others. He's sure there's a gap between him and the others. The Marquise is sure it's both a help and a problem. Tan fell silent. He saw an illusion nearby. The magician thought that the person who called him was joking and created the illusion of Carmen. If so, should the girl leave? Dallas held her back. No need to go. Carmen looked at the guy and called him kind. He disagreed. Why did she think so? The magician replied that everyone said so. The girl was sure they didn't see it. Few people know Tan. Dallas's smile looked fragile. An arrogant, selfish weirdo. A genius who became a marquis. He's been like this since his youth. It's obvious he has trouble finding common ground with others. The mage is a little different from everyone else. They are both similar, but there is a difference. Carmen asked, in what way are they different? Tan never got tired of it. Or maybe he didn't notice it. According to the girl, everyone feels tired at some point. Sometimes people are so busy that they don't feel it. Sometimes talents destroy themselves by ignoring tiredness. The Marquise decided it was time for her to go to her room. Carmen asked if she should return Tan's jacket now, which the magician had lent her on a walk. He allowed her to do it later. Taking advantage of his kindness, the Marquise returned to the bedchamber. In the morning, they brought her water and suggested applying makeup. The girl considered it necessary to tidy up the boy Amaro. Her appearance was also top-notch. April tried. Marquise was told about the highest magic of the basic attributes. The temple and the magicians behave like a cat and a dog. The residence is managed by Tan, April, Water, Dilipid, Light, Vatsker, Shadow. Dallas saved Carmen while investigating a case. For the first time, the master brought a guest here, who everyone was happy to see. The girl herself asked to be left here. Vatsker came in to see her. The magician introduced himself. He had heard that the guest was very friendly. It was the first time he had been treated so warmly. Carmen replied that kindness came from the heart. She would not belittle people who were not like her. April called Vatsker a shadow mage who is good at surveillance, so he decided to help the lady. He is over 100 years old, but he acts like a child. In this regard, Carmen does not necessarily respect the mage. Vatsker smiled and said that April was young and narrow-minded. His colleague became embittered and replied, "But he is smart?" Carmen silently noted their friendliness. Tan's jacket. The girl confirmed that he had borrowed it. She would return the item later. Vatsker pointed out the cold. If the lady continued to wear a robe, she would catch a cold. Carmen covered herself with her hands. The magicians noticed that she would remove her makeup that way. She asked Vatsker if he had come at her request. Answer: yes. An investigation had been conducted on the right person. The Marquise had 2 requests: to check how much one can trust the people close to Carmen and to find evidence linking Eleanor to her kidnapping. She will now return home. Behind the door, they were calling here. Tan didn't understand where everyone was gathered. He saw a portal, and in it, Carmen and his colleagues. Strangely, with the Marquise, he feels a sense of wrongness. April called Carmen to eat under the peach tree. The magician remembered that it was almond season. Some of its varieties were poisonous. He looked into the portal where his acquaintances were. Tan thought about Carmen. There was a glow around her, as if she was from another world. He considered her one of the participants. That's why he noticed her. The magician tried to understand why she was so special. The tower's leader noticed Watsker and Emero's affection for the guest. He does not understand her kindness. Today, the Shadow Mage told the girl about that rumor. Carmen searched for Rashida's house without stopping for food or sleep. The heroine can consider them innocent. The queen sent them to search for the Marquise. Ramona is not guilty either. Those who kidnapped her were skin traders. The bandits were unhappy with the growing popularity of sandals. But whoever tried to kill the Marquise was not affiliated with the Leather Traders Guild. Watsker is sure that someone planned the kidnapping well. They knew when to steal Carmen, using an expensive spell to do so. There were other faces with Carmen. They couldn't have done it without Eleanor's help. You don't have to show your emotions. Carmen brought Tan's jacket. She felt the cold in his room. The guy assured her that it was magic. The girl is sure that it is comfortable here and even the bath will heat up quickly. It was not Dallas who tried here. His student invents new things that are used in the master's room. Such technologies can be sold even to the queen. Carmen thanked the guy for his help. He knows about her desire to return home. She appreciates that he saved her. According to the magician, the girl looks gloomy. It is difficult for her to talk to him now. Her soul hurts from just one look. Carmen has a lot to do at home, so her head hurts. I wonder what role Dallas played in the original plot. Did he notice her like that back then? The Marchioness said out loud that she didn't know how to thank him. If the magician needs her help, he will get it. The Marquis will definitely repay the debt. Tan helped just like that. Nothing needs to be repaid. At home, Carmen will say that she hid, afraid for herself. Tan thought, the sage kidnapped the weak lady. Sadly, some were happy about this news. Rashida asked what happened to those he caught while rescuing her. They are in prison. Only 3 bandits. The one who tried to kill Carmen is a mercenary. This is not his first case. It is not yet known who ordered all this. The girl realized that thanks to him, she did not die then. Tan used the power of an illegal magician to find a customer. She asked a friend if she could borrow this magician. Carmen the magician must be a witness. Tan explained that after the interrogation, a nightmare spell was cast on the mercenary. If the lady wants to keep him alive, so be it. She doesn't know about such a spell. According to the magician, in his dreams, the mercenary experiences the worst moments of his life, and it is hard for him. A suitcase appeared in the hands of the Marquise, from which fireflies flew out. Tan called them spirits of light, who are responsible for the light in the tower. Carmen was delighted. She thanked the magician. She knows his secret. Their friendship has become stronger, he thought. After some time, Carmen arrived at the Queen's event, surprising everyone. The criminal was the daughter of an aristocrat who had long been at odds with Rashida. She couldn't cope alone, so they helped her. There is no evidence, but the culprit will be punished. The Marquise apologized to Tan in a letter. The young villain was sent to a monastery. The girl has more enemies than she thought. Carmen wondered why there is no news about the marriage, although there are so many personalities nearby. It is known about the proposal to the Princess Jaden, but she married the king because of the death of Queen Epinelia. Otto wanted to get together with Lady Arcazia, but nothing came of it. The heroine began to ask questions that were not typical of Carmen. In the hall, Carmen exchanged greetings with Eleanor. An unknown lady stared at the Marquise. She introduced herself as Leah. Vincid. The girl thought that there was no need for her to quarrel with Duared. Carmen was told that her new acquaintance was a famous seamstress, but she did not often go out in society. They brought her fabrics, a gift from the queen. The Marchioness wondered if she was experienced. Did she invest in lace? Carmen thought they had poached the dowager queen who didn't wear empire dresses. She asked her designer, is Vincid talented and dedicated to her work? The girl became worried, but the Marquise calmed her down, promising to buy clothes only from her. She did not order shoes from the master. Carmen explained this by the meeting with Madame Marc. The specialist agreed that Madame Marc's sandals were good. Carmen wondered if Vincent wanted to participate in the race. Then the party was not an end in itself for her. This could be a place to meet investors. The Marquise heard that Douared's business has been going down lately. They may be thinking of a new business since the lace is all over the market already. Eleanor looks rich. Does she have a patron? Carmen doesn't believe it. In the future, with knowledge, you can earn money yourself. She asked Madame Hines not to think too much about Lady Wang. Carmen is sure that Eleanor is connected to Madame Vimkid. She has called on Hines to find out what Douared is buying. She knows a lot about trading companies, and this time she will get the information she needs. Madame began to help the Marquise with her outfit. She and another servant were shocked by the beauty of the mistress. There are fabrics only for kings. They are forbidden for the people, and the production is expensive. These colors were banned for others due to avoiding excessive luxury. But this was a gift from the royal family, so the color didn't matter. There was no need to spend any money. Eleanor spoke for the need for white silk for better lace sales, but it is made by temples that do not want to cooperate with them. Someone can help. Carmen was walking past the shops with her maid on her day off. On the shelves, she saw laced shoes from local craftsmen. They were popular, the Marchioness thought. A woman spoke of knights who always followed her. The girls thought they heard Madame Marc's voice. In her workshop, due to confusion, someone had intercepted the necessary materials. Most of the clients were brought to her by Carmen, so the incident could damage her reputation. The girl will find a solution to the problem. She will give protection to the craftswoman. On the road, Carmen saw the culprit of the scandal and, together with Marc, caught up with him. To her surprise, it turned out to be Tan. Delighted, she reminded him that she asked not to scare her. Their dialogue. He knocked too. Not the best way to warn. And called by name. She did not hear it. The magician noted that it was her fault then. The Marchioness noticed how well hung his tongue was. Tan asked his friend not to go there. Into the dark place. The darkness there is wider than she thinks. When she enters there, the local chieftain will be informed immediately. The girl thanked him for his kindness. Rashida noticed Amaro next to the mage. After answering her how things were, the guy told her about the drug dealer's business in the alley. Carmen thought about Eleanor. She obviously had a base somewhere. Tan began to say goodbye. Amaro found it suspicious. The interesting Marquis was still a person for them. The boy agreed with the master's words. Lucky, as they noticed Eleanor Wang. She was the right hand of the boss of the alley's Nocturne. So what they are looking for is in Eleanor. In the courtyard, Carmen told about the break of the engagement of Prince Cain. The Marchioness suggested that the princess seat the prince next to her. Her mother came to her. The heiress's thoughts were that Aspen would not come, and the girl would not sit at the table with her. The queen suggested that they drink tea. Carmen asked Ramona about the slums. She had recently walked past them and noticed a woman who looked like Eleanor. Some people are given away by their aura. The maid was sure that she shouldn't say that in front of others. The queen was asked what she would wear to the next harvest festival. The courtiers want to see her new attire. Popular white dresses, even strict ladies could not resist them. Carmen's plans? The girl replied that she would remake the old outfits, giving them a new life. Lord Elon told them about the path to the real guild, which they could see. He added that if they go there, they go for Lotane medicine. He was advised not to go there. Lord noticed an acquaintance in the alley who was not going there for an outfit. Elon was asked to find out about that place. Carmen's reputation has been tarnished more than once. Who knows what they have in mind? The Marchioness wanted to ask the Lord for something else, and he agreed. Lady Carmen entered the hall to the surprise of those present. It was the priest Chebra. He asked her to follow them. Carmen was in a large hall and was talking to a man. He asked if she had recently created a new outfit, to which he received a positive answer. The next question was about the color of the clothes. The girl thought someone had told her about the scarlet sling. Were those Madame Hines's assistants? Did Carmen use white silk? Yes, partly. Man. Does the Marquis realize that scarlet is the color of the royal family? Carmen, you are not aware of the permission for ladies-in-waiting to wear forbidden colors if the fabric is a gift from the queen. Man, white silk stolen from temple and girl's name among suspects. Such theft is a serious crime. Man reported witnesses who saw the marquise. Carmen said with a smile that she had bought the fabric for the dress a long time ago, part from the Lork Company and also from Madame Heinz. How could the investigator verify this? The girl chose the material herself. There is also a journal with the purchase history. The maid can bring it. But why did the witness point to her? The last time she was in the temple was with the queen. The man said the pharmacist saw a lady who looked like the marquise. Maybe he noticed Rashida talking to the merchant. Carmen asked me to convey a request to the queen. She wants to rest. Eleanor was thinking about unraveling and reweaving the temple silk into new fabric. The sale of black roses was going well thanks to the investment of Countess Leonad. They could earn more. Lady Wang doesn't know how smart Carmen has become, but she wonders how she will get out of this trap. Will protect Eleanor Nocturne because she can fulfill his cherished wish. The lady can't believe she's using dirty tricks, but she'll lose otherwise. Someone in a coat came in to see her. She realized that this man had saved Carmen and was on her side. Someone smilingly stated that it was correct to consider Eleanor as a client. She did not understand. According to him, she had his thing, so the girl was obliged to pay the corresponding price. Eleanor said that she had never taken anything in her life. The guy replied that if Chebra had heard that, he would have laughed right away. The hostess reminded him that they were a company and asked the man to leave if he had no business there. The mage turned on the search spell. Eleanor was shocked. He did not know where his thing was hidden. The lady demanded an explanation from him, realizing that it was Tan in front of her. He was surprised. How did they know each other? Who doesn't know Dallas? The magician grinned, saying that there is nothing here that he needs, and asked the girl not to get too carried away. After the meeting, the girl felt uneasy. For her, certain events are going on as before. She needs to move in the same direction. Who would have thought that she would wear a dress from Carmen Rashida? Thanks to Nocturne, she got in touch with Anna, so everything will be fine. Carmen will be busy blaming and clearing herself of suspicion. Lady Wang met her grandmother. After greetings, they arrived at the palace. The servant introduced Eleanor Wang and Countess Nozak. The guests whispered, calling her a country girl. They asked what kind of shawl the girl was wearing. Questions. Is this lace from Jaden? Purchased from Duared? This is the reaction the lady expected. Carmen was announced Rashida. Wang got nervous. Why is her competitor here? Carmen saw her rival. She does not understand what kind of relationship there is between her and Countess Leonad, and she is not dressed for the season. The queen and Halsel received their cloaks. Eleanor suspected that Carmen had seen her and that someone had told her about her plan. She would not have made it to the ball if it had not been for the accounting books. Otto and Richard were announced to have arrived. Everyone was looking at the queen's cloak. It was the highlight of the company's autumn-winter collection. Ramona entered. Carmen, I wonder if she'll dance to the second tune. Ramona wants to wait for a faster tempo song. Elon approached Carmen and asked her to dance. She accepted, learned that Eleanor is protecting Nocturne. Carmen asked Elon to continue the investigation. She walked down the hallway and saw Tan with a thoughtful look. She thought about Eleanor happily looking at the prince. Dallas stopped her. He offered her a dance. The girl did not like such an invitation, but such is her friend's mentality. Carmen said with a smile that she had no choice. She complained that it would have been better if he had called her at the beginning of the song. Alas, Tan was late on business. How did she notice him? By chance, the girl answered. She remembered how he wanted to become her business partner. Tan uses right now. The magician didn't understand why. The girl explained. She had enough money. If sales didn't go well, they wouldn't lose much. Tan appreciated his friend's interesting thoughts. She added that money is important for sages too, otherwise he wouldn't try to earn it. Dallas needs details about the rumors, why Carmen was brought to trial. The Marquise wonders if there is a spell to record images before they begin this conversation. Answer: there is none. The mage heard that the girl was mistreated. He remained silent when asked who said that. Tan knows something that Carmen doesn't? Okay, he'll share the secret. He's looking for something important. Rashida. It's cleverly designed and heavy. Dallas denied his friend's words. It doesn't matter. Carmen thought about how her partner was smiling, and he looked at Eleanor as if he was lost in water. Maybe he was jealous of Richard? Everyone in the hall was looking at them. The mage didn't understand why she thought he was looking for a weapon. Carmen remembered that piece of paper. Tan hadn't seen it. Reasoning from the mage's point of view, she thought it was for a weapon, if Tan before this thing. Tan sarcastically called his girlfriend an interesting girl. The latter still has questions, but we'll ask them later. Now she can't ask him about Eleanor either. Does he like her? The song ended. They parted. Carmen sat down at the table, but the queen called her. She was interested in the young man with whom the maid of honor was dancing. Is this the Marquis Darcy? As Carmen had said earlier, they were acquainted. She had not expected him to invite her. The Dowager Queen reminded her of the engagement of her youngest grandson Paul and asked her to be careful this time. Otto showed up. Carmen thought he might not have forgotten Eleanor. Lady Wang grinned to herself. Her grandmother didn't know how she had already sat at the royal table in her past life. The girl was asked if this was her first time at the Dahlia Harvest Festival. Yes, and it was a great honor for her. She doubted that there were such important people in her grandmother's hometown. The grandmother replied that there were few noble bloods in her homeland. The mother demanded that her daughter stop talking. The Great Hall. The woman says that Du wanted to attend the ball. The answer, children are like that, and after their debut, they are forced to attend all the balls, even if they are not in the mood. That is why girls are taught etiquette from childhood. The heroine remembered that she had no memories of the debut of Carmen. The Marquise was asked if she thought the same about etiquette. Answer, balls will be interesting if you watch them from childhood. Carmen brought the Queen's glasses. People appreciated their charm. Her Majesty is beautiful in everything. Even the glass emphasizes the elegance of the palace's mistress. Rashida immediately received a compliment. According to the Queen, Carmen always comes up with something new. She just wanted to find a temporary lady-in-waiting, but she got a friend. How many glances at the Marchioness? The guests were worried about the Queen when they heard the news of the Countess's departure. But there were many smart ladies at court, so there was nothing to worry about. Carmen considered it a provocation, but she responded. The girl thanked him for the kind words. Words were heard about the need to worry about Madame Cornell. She was better and should return soon. The Queen intervened. A special night at the Terreria house. A glass of red wine is shown falling. The man tells the girls in the fluffy dresses that they were specifically ordered by a representative of the Rashid family. How is that possible? If it is Lady Carmen, then the girl in the blue dress wonders why. Her friend in the red dress is also perplexed. Lady Carmen Rashida of Belak is the only daughter of the Rashid family, who rule the Belak estates. She is the flower of high society. The red-haired beauty in the scarlet robe is this lady. The girl thought, it would be better to say that she was a flower. She has only been in the body of a lady for 1 week. Her previous life was being an office worker. Therefore, she does not have the skills of an aristocrat.